I will be with you shortly. Wait for a few people to show up here. I want to address something here very important. I'll be with you in a few. Okay, where do we begin here? How about from the beginning? Okay. Okay, most of you are somewhat familiar with what's been going on here. Mr. Barry Lee Jordan, who felt he was above the law, decided to not pay, I don't know, over 7 years of required fees that we all have to pay for staying here. And he thought he could get away with that. Well, apparently that did not happen. He was arrested. Still hasn't paid any of that, my understanding. He's been spending time in an immigration facility in Battaglia. It has been over 15 months, going to go on 16 as of the 27th of this month. And the reason he's been in there so long, although he has a summary deportation, because he can't leave. Because there's a trial going on, as everybody's aware of. Now, there wouldn't be a trial of 5 counts if he did not continually, we're not talking once, we're not talking twice, it's not a fluke, it wasn't a one-time thing, of doing live shows from his channel, constantly calling me a child predator, child molester, then trying to make reference that I had a case in Hawaii, which was a, quote, civil case that really was not based around a child, and nothing was ever done to a child except a song. Anyway, ridiculous as it is, he thought that was kind of a clutch for him, which it's not. A civil case in Hawaii has no bearing on anything to do with his case. None. His defense, zero. Now, during this time, over a lengthy period of time, he would come on his show and just blatantly, and on camera, as foolish as that is, I'm doing a review of something here, okay, would continually call me a child molester and a pedophile. Those are very, very powerful words. It's one thing if he called me an idiot. It's one thing if, which he's done, of course, or any other name. But that's the one thing that you don't do with anybody, despite how much hate or dislike or, problems that you've had with somebody. It's one thing you never do, but daily, I can't think of how many times he said that on his own show. And of course, live on camera doing it, which makes it even more ridiculous and more as a proof of ignorance, proof of cockiness. Oh, please turn this over to your lawyer. He put himself in his own position, but he wants to look at himself as a victim. Well, who's the victim, really? This kind of situation creates a lot of stress. Nobody wants to go to court. Nobody wants to go through the shit or even spend money. I can think of better things I could do with my money. How about you? However, there's some things that you cannot overlook. Let's fast forward just a little bit here. As a result of being incarcerated for a very long time, which, by the way, you could either say he deserves it or he doesn't. But I don't make the rules with the system. I mean, regarding on how long he's been incarcerated. It's only he's been incarcerated that long because, well, he's got an active trial going on. I think you understand how that works. So they got to keep him somewhere, and henceforth, that's why he's in lockup. Well, things got worse and he didn't make it any better on himself. He decided, I'm going to get even. So he needed his special to put in a report to immigration to try to label me as an undesirable. In turn, opened up a very big can of worms. As time will tell. I mean, it's already known, whether they are engaged or not, that it's never going to be a possibility of getting married to begin with. It's obvious. However, we'll move beyond that. And by him himself, don't get my girlfriend involved, or I don't want my girlfriend involved, pretty much is the accurate wording on that, coming from him. Okay, I understand that. Try not to get his girlfriend involved, but he did. Did he not understand? Did he misunderstand the ramifications of such? As much as he's upset about his freedom and not being able to go out to the bars and continue his life and everything else, I have to have my own concerns. I got a relationship too, a real relationship, not based on utilitarian purposes. I take it very seriously that somebody's putting a report to try to get me deported from this country. I think that me and my girlfriend, we've been under enough stress with this crap to not just sit back and take it. And sometimes it may wind up me forcing my hand to do some other things that I just, and legally, of course, there's no threat. It's fact, not threat. A man's got to protect himself and what he loves and his own life. I am fucking 70 years old, and, karma willing, I'll have a long life to live. But I'm not going to live my life where somebody's trying to create a lot of stress. And I've been handling this very well. I'm not exactly pulling my hair out from this, as some people would hope to. I'm taking this as much stride as I can, but it's not helping his situation at all. He doesn't think, and that's his problem. So he decided to get his girlfriend involved. I don't know where she gets her money. She's going out to different places. I don't know. There's money involved somewhere, but we won't dwell on that. They decided that the best way to get even with me was to file a report with BID. Got the paperwork. And fortunately, I'm in a position that I could have a lawyer who will defend me on this. He wrote a fantastic counter affidavit on this. Where it goes from there, I don't know yet. But everything has its own recourse, either direction, or where it's not going to go. But unfortunately, in situations like this, it winds up forcing my hand. And unfortunately, it can create an immense amount of complications for both parties. It's called ignorance. There's some things that are better left alone. Let the trial go where it's going to go, and the judge makes his decision, and voila, you go from there. However, out of a desperate act of I'll get even, of retribution, he ain't going to get away with this. Get away with what? And let's define that. Get away with what? Did he or did he not come on camera and call me a pedophile more times than I could count? Did he or did he not? That's a yes or no question, which has one answer, and the answer is yes. So where did I go wrong? Where? Why would I be the guy with the black hat? I'm not the guy with the black hat. People are always very concerned about their reputation in social circles and otherwise. There could be people, peers that you know from a long time ago that maybe follow my show. They're listening to all this shit. And they hear that somebody is calling me a fucking pedophile, a child molester. It has long-reaching ramifications, which forced my hand to do a criminal case on him for such, as you're familiar with. It didn't have to go that way, but, going back, he did not have to do a daily show. Daily, by the way, that's the key word, daily. Oh, some people might say, well, hey, you blurted out a few things yourself, son. I think we all have. I never got on my show calling him names every single fucking day. Was he ever in my mention? Of course. But I've never used my channel as a tool in regards to him to, shall I say, trying to find the right word, blemish his reputation. His reputation is known to everybody. It didn't take any effort from me to blemish this guy. His reputation precedes him. So he felt, out of ignorance, certainly, that he would continue doing what he did, even when he was in his jail cell. And he was officially charged at this time, officially charged with 5 counts of cybercrime. And he was so cocky that he felt he had to continue on and do shows. When does a man learn? Stupid is, stupid does. He brought this all on to himself. And let's make that perfectly clear. He brought this all on to himself. There is no doubt this shouldn't be by anybody. Troll, friend, foe, whatever. He brought this all on to himself. That's why he's in this position. Let's straighten this out and let's give clarity to the whole situation here. Whether you're friend or foe to me, as far as YouTube is concerned, every one of them, even the trolls, know the whole situation. They've heard it. They've seen it. There was no question about what he did. So let's move forward. In an act of desperation, he decided to plot and plan something. Again, the word retribution, get even. Let's punish him of what he did to me. Well, not thinking about the potential ramifications of such, He convinced his girlfriend to file a case, well, not a case, but a complaint, to try to get me deported. Like that's going to solve all his issues, which it's not. No matter what happens, the case still goes on. It's the Republic against him. It didn't help him. In fact, it made the situation even worse. I was going to leave this alone. Just let him go through the 5 counts of cybercrime, and wherever it happens, happens. But because of his vengeance, or wanton for vengeance, he decided to get his girlfriend involved, which he clearly said in the past, I don't want her involved with any of my affairs. But what did he do? He got her involved. And he convinced her to go file a complaint with the BID to try to get me deported. He was worried about, well, I won't be able to be with my girlfriend. He wants to stay here, but yet he wants to be deported, but to get out of jail. But does he not think that what he just did is going to help his situation? No, it made it worse. 2 potential things could happen here that are pending. I'm not very happy, of course, with somebody making a report on me trying to call me an undesirable. I've done more good things living in this country than he could ever do in his lifetime. And that's a fact. I have a real relationship with somebody who loves me, and I love her back. Yes, I do have a family out here now. Maybe better than I ever had in my life. And to even think the thought that I could be separated from the very person who's my rock, the very person that I love so much, I don't take very lightly. And I'm not going to take it lightly. I don't know where this is going out, but there is recourse for everything. Now, of course, while the immigration is trying to mold this over and looking at that excellent, I must say, excellent counter affidavit that my attorney provided, which was required in a 10-day period, one would say, what kind of complaint is this? It was invalid in every way. But as a result of doing this, if I had one iota of compassion for this man or her, if I had any, that's gone. I didn't involve her in this. She involved herself, but her boyfriend got her to get involved with this. That's just a fact. You could say different and you could have your own opinion on this, but fact is fact. This is what's going down. And this is the last time I'm going to be talking about anything legal at all on this. This is my swan song to the whole fucking situation. Now, as a result of what he tried to do, and her, it is unfortunately going to force my hand to have to get a little ugly on this, uglier. I don't appreciate what they tried to do, and neither does my girlfriend. We have a life together, just like he figures he has a life with his girlfriend. You know, how real his relationship is, that's another issue, but mine is real. Mine is valid. Without question. I'm 70 fucking years old. I don't need this shit, but I'll tell you what. I will do whatever it is I need to do to put remedy to this. It's not going to make his situation any better. He wants freedom. You have to earn freedom. You can't make a situation worse, but this is called ignorance. Ignorance. Sure, he's not happy that he's been locked up for so long, but I didn't do it to him. It started off with his immigration shit. Then he decided to be an asshole and put live shows on telling people, and people don't even know who I am, and they're going to believe what they hear because, well, if it's on the internet, it's real, right? Isn't that the train of thought with most people? How about all these new people that don't know me? They say, well, this guy's a pedophile? We can't have that. As a result of that, there's been threats. It hasn't been a cakewalk. Trying to ruin my reputation, I just cannot let that be. For a man who would like me to drop his case, he sure hasn't gone about it the right way. Because I've had periodical emails, I'm sure that was coming from him under a different name on an email with threats, warning me to drop this case or else. I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm not going to tolerate that. Sure, he's desperate. He wants to get out. I understand completely. It's not the best place in the world to be, but certainly is a better place than he's been living in most of his stay in the Philippines. I think we'll all agree with free rent and electricity. However, the lines were crossed. As I said, this is the last time I'm going to address any of this shit. If not being the last fucking show, all right, whatever. Take my word or not. I don't give a shit either way. I think I've been talked out. I think I've made my point very clearly. And after this show, I don't think there's any reason to even reiterate or continue to talk about these legal issues or anything else for that fact. Here we go with that proverbial can of worms, and it was open. That can was opened. No threats here. Nobody's threatening anybody. Just legalities. She thought that maybe she was helping him, or he convinced her that, hey, we got to do something about this. We got to punish him. For what? For what you did? It's like he's trying to turn the tables. He's incarcerated for a reason. He has 5 counts of cybercrime against him for a valid reason. This is a criminal, not a civil case. Although they tried to utilize my civil case in Hawaii as a clutch and a crutch, both. But ignorance can be bliss to some people when they've been living with it all their life. And that's what got them in trouble in the first place and got them into trouble with other situations in their life, as historically speaking, going back in this person's own personal life, well beyond living in the Philippines. I'm not going to sit back. I'm too old for this shit. I'm not going to sit back and pretend that that didn't happen. I'm not going to sit back and be lenient, to be compassionate to a person who does not have the capability, who's not having any cognitive ability to understand and realize that they're in enough trouble as it is in the first place. But by doing other things, they put themselves in another world of hurt. All of this will be addressed in court at one point or another. If he's thinking that's going to help his case out, then he's not thinking very clearly. If anything, it's going to make it worse. But more than that, the guy who supposedly loves his girlfriend, his rock, okay? And she is his rock, because nobody else is really visiting him. providing him with food and whatnot. Utilitarian, but whatever you may think it is, whatever he may regard it as, it's utilitarian as far as I'm concerned, and that's my opinion. I'll stick to it. I got a real relationship. And to try to separate me from my loved one out of revenge, this retribution, this get even crap, only tends or will tend to complicate both of their situations. But apparently they're not thinking very clearly. I need to move on with this shit and continue living my life. But if it means getting sidetracked and sidelined, then I guess that's what I have to do. Until this is all over one way or the other. I take this matter very seriously. Imagine, because he's unhappy with his situation that he created himself, because he can't be out there on the street with his girlfriend, he can't be hitting the bars, he can't be walking with freedom of something that he created on his own. He wants me, him and his girlfriend want me to be miserable. Look, I'm dealing with other shit too. I don't need this crap. I don't need this. I don't want this. But by golly, I'm going to settle this matter one way or the other. Part of me will like, oh, the word on the street is that I'm threatening. Who's threatening? I'm not threatening anyone. Oh, by the words I'm hearing, that I'm threatening his girlfriend. Nobody's threatened his girlfriend. Nobody's ever threatened his girlfriend. Nobody ever will threaten his girlfriend. Not me. On any terms other than, and it's not a threat, it's legal matters, which unfortunately are going to, it looks like it's going to have to be addressed. Look, I don't care about the money. It's the principle of the whole thing. You can spend money and you can make money. Money can be replaceable. But your dignity, your pride, your reputation, you got to defend that. I don't take these matters lightly, and I never will. Let's get that straight. They think they're doing something good to make themselves feel better. However, in the long run, it's not going to make anything better. It's going to make things worse. Because any iota of me ever feeling a bit of compassion for this man is long gone. If they're worried about the situation being incarcerated, whatever, what the future brings to them, and it may be pretty grim, is not going to be remedied by vengeance, or shall I say revenge. Well, you did this to me, so now I'm going to get my girlfriend to go to BID and file a complaint against me. What is that accomplishing? By the way, there is legal avenues to fight something like that. My lawyer already did it. But there's more. Let's just say the BID says, no, maybe we'll see him as an undesirable. Well, there are ramifications. There are actually routes to address this. If it has to wind up somehow, have to go through the hoops of having to have a full-blown case against her, then that's what it's going to be. So more money raising for her. And she don't like to get her family involved in this, but she wanted to keep on the low side of things and let her boyfriend handle his stuff and keep her out of it. But A little late for that. I'm afraid it's a little late for that. Either one of them were thinking clearly. As I said, I'm going to fight every one of these things tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. I'm sharpening up my claws as we speak. Because now he's interfering with my life. He's interfering with my relationship. Not that he'd ever break it up. Because we got real love. There's nothing utilitarian about our relationship at all. Period. But I'm not going to sit back, is what I'm trying to say, and let something like this happen. There's no fucking way. Yeah, the proverbial can of worms has been opened. Certainly has. Where it winds up, I guess we'll find out. But I think both of them made a big mistake. This is going to have long-reaching ramifications well beyond his situation. She listens to everything he says. Why? I don't know. What kind of a stronghold he has on her? I don't know. I don't know. Why she even wants to be with somebody of his caliber, I don't know either. I have no clue. I have some ideas, but I'll keep that to myself. But if he thinks he could trample on me and ruin my fucking life, he's got another thing coming, and he will have another thing coming. Yes, pending. It's already been discussed. With my lawyer in detail. There are going to be 2 different agencies involved with her. 2 different issues. As a result of this report that she filed. Now you'll say, oh, that's a threat. No, it's not a threat. It's a fact. Nobody's threatening anybody. Certainly not physically. She did something legally against me with immigration. Something that could potentially change my life. And I'm supposed to sit back and say, oh, that's okay. I understand. I understand about your boyfriend not being happy about being incarcerated. I understand. Yeah, I understand. But to think that that's going to make the situation better for her boyfriend, or for her, for that fact, they're fooling themselves. It's just going to get worse. Just going to get worse. I guarantee you it. Without question. Without doubt. Why complicate your life any more than you need to? Well, apparently they weren't thinking, either one of them. When they decided to put heads together, and possibly influenced by other people, of course, and they got some of their own supporters that are providing a little cash. How do you think she's been able to go out all these places and do this and do that and do this and do that? Always traveling and eating out and going places. She never did that before. So there's a money source. There is a money source behind. There has to be. There's definitely a little money trail going on here. Because operating a sorry store doesn't bring in much money. So there's something behind the scenes. There's a money source. Even to write up the complaint for the BID probably took a lawyer. At least for that write-up. For the consult and for the paperwork. All right. What's done has already been done. But unfortunately, it's just the beginning. For somebody that wants to put this shit behind him and try to get himself in a better position where the possibility of utilizing his summary deportation to go back home is just going to complicate more. What if he has a second case against him? He ain't going nowhere then. And I'll make sure that happens. I'm not worried about the fucking money. Money can be replaced. But you can't change what he said and did. That's already history. You can't change history. He put himself in that position, and he's going to keep himself in that position, if not even worse. Imagine not having just one case against him for 5 cybercrime, but imagine having yet another case against him, totally separate from the other, that will address his physical threats, his threats of violence, his threats of death. So, does that mean we're going to have 2 cases now? So how did this situation, I want to know, how did this situation help him? By getting his girlfriend to make a complaint against me with the Department of Immigration. How is that helping him? That's the question. How will that help her? It's not. But as usual, the individual is not thinking. Because I just don't think he has the capability of cognitive thinking, reasoning, whatever. My opinion. My opinion. And has potentially made things worse for himself and for the girlfriend that he loves so much that he said he would never involve, but he did. But he did. That's exactly what happened. What am I looking for here? Hold on. Make things better for himself, or the potential better for himself, and just writing this thing out and see where it goes. He decided to take extra measures to show everybody and to impress his girlfriend. Yeah, why don't you do this, man? We got to get even with him. Well, again, he wasn't thinking clearly. One text message to my attorney, and we communicate a lot on text. In fact, I'm probably one of his only clients that's ever been in touch with him as much as I am. That's the truth. One call or text message to him to give him the go-ahead to do something will initiate paperwork. Will initiate another case against him, in which case he ain't going nowhere if the prosecutor puts his signature on this for the death threats. Evidence, again, is there, as there was in the current case with his slander and libel. Got the evidence, lots of it, and no prosecutor out here, after reviewing this evidence, is going to say, no, I don't think we could, further this on to a court hearing and just crowd up the dockets, which are already crowded. He's going to find a resolution to this. Based on the evidence, he has one decision to make. Based on what I've... Sorry, there might be a... Not a great position is that he gets his girlfriend involved. Something he said he would never do. But he did. Well, that's true love. Well, that's love, all right. The only way I get my girlfriend involved is as a witness. That's it. And she is a witness. He'll see that if he ever shows up to his court hearings. Last hearing, he didn't even want to get on camera, on Zoom. Not even his lawyer showed up. His lawyer was on Zoom. I guess it don't matter, in a sense, because the judge was on Zoom too. Apparently, they're still worried about the bear flu situation. And a lot of times these cases are on Zoom, becoming very common. The judges don't want to expose themselves to a crowd of people. We got a good audience this morning. You can barely hear anything on there. The sound system is terrible. But he didn't have the balls to even show up on camera. No, 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 no. I said, well, where is he? I said to my girlfriend. Not even on camera, nevertheless being in the courtroom. I showed up in the courtroom. I was there. And I wasn't just there with my lawyer. I was there with two lawyers. The second one being his associate from his firm, who had in his hand, he was there for a purpose, to present visual evidence to the judge. I had it right there. Two lawyers. To present the on-camera evidence of what he did. Now, unfortunately, on that hearing, more of the talk had to do with scheduling. His lawyer, and I could talk about this, I have no reason why I can't. His lawyer was trying to get the case dismissed based on a scheduling problem. The original case was scheduled to be like March 4th of next year. That was written in stone. But then his lawyer, pushed by his client, said, no, I want more of an expedient trial. Can't let him hang in jail all this time. Okay, understand that. I don't make the rules. As it turned out, my attorney had prior commitments to other cases. On two of the dates, he was reliant on the March 4th date of next year. So he figured, well, okay, cool. But his lawyer got involved and said, I want to be more expedient. Let's get this thing moving. Well, unfortunately, the dates that came up was not convenient for my lawyer because he had previous obligations. I'm not his only client. So apparently, his lawyer pushed on the issue of scheduling and said that's enough to get the case dismissed. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's what they're trying to push right now. That's what they're trying to push. In a desperate effort to try to get this case dismissed based on scheduling. Scheduling. That's all it's about, scheduling. He didn't even show up on camera. Didn't even go on camera. I showed up at that courtroom. I was there with two attorneys that day representing me. Second lawyer, as I said, with laptop in his hand, and his purpose was to present the visual evidence to show to the judge, but they tried to sidetrack this thing, is what they did. My girlfriend was going to be witness. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. She was ready to testify, but his lawyer tried to complicate things by arguing about scheduling. And I think the case should be dismissed because we did schedule for these dates. And I want to expedite the situation so my client doesn't have to sit in jail. He's going to sit in jail anyway. Nevertheless, to some degree. But he figured the easy way out was to try to get the case dismissed based on scheduling. Well, that doesn't seem to appear, for what I understand, to be working. Nice try, but no cigar. There is a new scheduled date, and I imagine that we're going to get beyond the scheduling thing, and we're going to continue this case and get the evidence presented, get the witnesses there, then to finally my testimony, and we'll get this pony riding. Sure, in my own sense, I'd like to expedite this whole process myself, of course, as you would. But I'm not in control with the issues and tissues of the lawyers. It's not my gig. I just go along with this, that's all I do. You know, it's a Republic of the Philippines against him. I'm the complainant, basically. There's certain things I have control over, there's certain things I don't have any control of, period. I just go with the flow of the system, that's all I do. Okay, again, so let's summarize this whole thing, because I don't want to be on here all fucking morning. I will handle things as I feel necessary, but I will say that any effort to resolve this situation seems to be out the window. Because he decided to get his girlfriend involved in this. All for hate and revenge. What you did to me, I'm going to get even with you. What I did to you? What I did to you? Why are you sitting in a fucking jail cell? What I did to you? It was your mouth that got you in trouble and has gotten you in trouble all your fucking life. All your fucking life. Everything from the event of what happened with his wife over the child custody issues, and he struck his wife, and he said this on camera, admitted this, means that he has the capacity for violence, that he's not a thinking man to understand that there are ramifications to what you do in your life. Serious ramifications. He had 6 months in jail for striking his wife over the issue of the child custody. Struck his own wife. Wow. I don't know. Guess it takes all kinds, and he's one of the kind. This is a non-thinking man. Because if he was thinking clearly, he would not be in the situation that he's in. So who brought it on? Oh, you're the culprit, dude. You're the one that brought the charges against him. Well, damn right I brought charges against him. I decided I was not going to sit back anymore, trying to ruin my reputation that goes even beyond YouTube. No. No. That wasn't going to happen. So he's stewing in his own fucking soup, and he put himself in that situation on all levels, immigration-wise and legal-wise. And I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy, apparently. How do you figure that? Put yourself in my shoes, friend or foe. You may not admit it on your own show or your comments on other people's channels, but if it was your ass on the line, if it was your ass wearing my shoes and going through what I have gone through with this guy, you, if you had the money, would do the same goddamn thing, because the alternative would not be proper. The alternative would be beat the shit out of the guy. But I'm not going to do that. And I thought, and I have the capability and a cognitive ability to think straight. Physical damage, you heal. And I don't advocate violence. Sure, I could have took that route, so could anybody else. And maybe some people out there have been in situations where they decided not to do it legally and handle it on a personal matter. I don't advocate violence. And I'm not really in a position to get into a physical fight with anybody. I'm not 30 years old anymore. His case, well, I wouldn't even worry about that. But nevertheless, you have to think clearly and think ahead about ramifications of everything you do, or else you just make things worse for yourself. I'm smart enough to know that. So it never went in the other direction. It could have, maybe even should have. But I'm not Ricky. I will not do something like that. The temptation's always there, of course, during the course of all this crap. But to actually do something like that? No, it would have to be a physical confrontation where they raised their first fist to cause harm to me, and then the rest of the story, that would be all she wrote. That'll be all she wrote, and good night, Irene. That didn't happen because I'm a thinking man. He's not a thinking man. That's why he's in the position that he's in right now. So this is going to be the last time I'm going to be addressing this shit. Let the dice roll. And where it goes, it goes. But I will tell you that unfortunately for both of them, they opened up a can of worms that might not be able to be reversed. No matter what happens with me with BID. And as I said, there is recourse to that, by the way. It would just made things worse. Just made things worse. Was neither one of them thinking, or their allegiance, if you want to call that, to each other, has forced them to take that route, to file a complaint with the BID, to try to get me deported and separated from my loved one and family? That's a lot of balls. That's a lot of balls, but it's actually ignorance. Did you think I was going to sit back and say, yeah, it's okay, you know, I'll see where this goes? And yeah. No. If you know me any better than that, you know that I'm not going to sit there and let this happen and not have some kind of direction with this or recourse on this matter. There's going to be recourse. He didn't want his girlfriend involved. He didn't want his girlfriend involved, and he made that abundantly clear how many times through the years. He didn't want her involved. But guess what? He involved her. So much for love, real love. Because if there was, my opinion, of course, keeping everything legal here, my opinion is if it was true love, he would not get her involved. Now, what goes through her brain, I don't know. Why she has such an allegiance to him, I do not know. Why he's a prized package to her, I don't know. Although I have my ideas, as I said, my opinion, utilitarian. Nothing illegal about saying that. And again, it's my opinion. You could agree with me or not. Don't matter in the scheme of things. Legally even. I have my own thoughts, convictions, and my own train of mind and my own opinion. And that is my opinion. I will never change it for anybody under any circumstance. All this has been an effort to try to get me to drop the case against her boyfriend. All along, that's what it's been. I've had the email letters. I've seen people on shows basically threatening me to say, you better drop this case or else. Or else. Or else what? You're not going to do anything, even if you could. You're never going to approach me physically. That would not be something very wise to do. You might have a real bad situation going on with that, Jack. It's all mouth. All mouth. Where I have one guy in particular who's been writing me for a long time, who, on one hand, talk about people's psychology on here, on one hand, would actually be very nice to me. They even say, I know he did all this wrong and all that. Then in another email, say, you better drop this, you better drop it before Christmas or else. Or else, oh yeah, that gives me plenty of reason to want to go easy on this guy. Oh, you convinced me. Not. Well, like I said, the judge has to decide on his own where he wants to go with this case, and that's the part I have no control of. I truly think that we are beyond any possibility of having any compassion for this man, not just what he did to me, but getting his girlfriend involved and trying to get me thrown out of the country as an undesirable. Undesirable? That's this guy's middle name. Undesirable. He wrote the book on that. But of course, when you're pissed off and you're not happy with your situation, you want to lash out. I can't just sit here and do nothing. I've been in this dilapidated fucking place, going to be going on 16 months this month. I got to do something to throw a wrench in his machinery. What's the best way to get even with me? Is try to make a report to the BID. Undesirable. What has he done anything good in the Philippines? Undesirable? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm very charitable when I can. Sorry about that. If I move around too much on here, I sometimes get a disconnect. Sorry about that. This could go on for quite a while. Nobody went after his girlfriend. Nobody. Nobody went after his girlfriend, sir. I'll respond to your comment. Nobody. Never even used her name in a sentence of such. I think you got your information a little bit wrong. So no matter what she puts on a fucking complaint is invalid. And from what I read, everything she wrote in there was totally invalid and a lie. My attorney was smart enough to see through that as well as I was. As well as I was. Made very clear. He couldn't be more clear. But she decided she'd take a chance. Let's fuck this guy up. Because my boyfriend is in jail. He's incarcerated. We got to get even with this motherfucker. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Now, where this is going, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. But as I said, there is recourse to this. And further recourse, unfortunately, for her and him. Because I said, I'm not going to stand back on this. Push the envelope too much. Both of them, they pushed the envelope too much. Too far. For me to sit back and have any sorrow for this guy, any compassion to let him just get deported and be over with it. That could have happened. That's what he made his mistake on several occasions. This could have been all over with. He's already got a summary deportation. He's already got that. He could have been on his way home. But no. He had to open his mouth more even while he was incarcerated. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Now it is what it is. But unfortunately, another can of worms has opened up, and I think it went out of control. An act of revenge, retribution, get even, opened up another can of worms, and maybe for her. There ain't nothing going to stop me from doing any legal cases on her. There's nothing going to stop me. I think we're beyond this now. To go that far to put in a complaint to immigration, trying to say that I'm an undesirable. How am I an undesirable? Do you live my life? Do you see the people I have contact with throughout my stay here in the Philippines? Do you see how I interact with the friends we made out here, with the people in my community, or anywhere else? No, you don't. Everything's speculation. You don't see that. You only go what you hear. I'm a bad guy. I'm a hateful person. Blah, 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 blah. I'm an undesirable. I'll define undesirable. And it goes by a certain guy's name. That is undesirable. Proven time and time and time again. In or outside of court. We're not addressing all his issues in court. We're addressing one issue. But there is a second issue that is not being addressed. Okay, I'm providing you some surface information here. That has not been addressed. And the likelihood of it being addressed is sounding very real at this point right now. He wants his freedom. But what is he doing? The main question, what is he doing? What is he doing to make the situation better for him? He's not doing anything. Oh, fuck off, troll. It's his responsibility to send evidence in, not yours. I've not broken any laws. I pay my visa fees. Fact. I'm not a threat to the country. I'm here legally. That's it. I don't have a criminal record. Period. I pose no threat to the Filipino people or anybody else. I'm here legally. I don't have an NBI, a derogatory report on NBI, and I don't have any cybercrime issues with the cybercrime unit, as spoken by somebody who's in a second lead position in that department and stated on paper. There you go. But you can't blame somebody for trying, right? So how is that going to help either one of them? That's the key question here. It's going to make the situation worse for both of them. Oh, keep my girlfriend out of this. I did. I did exactly keep her out of this. It's exactly what I did. There are reasons why there could be a legal case on her. 2, I didn't do anything. I didn't pursue it. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Now, might be a different situation now, because she went way too far. Both of them did. Fact or fiction? You know, it's fact. Not going to help either one of them. But to try to get in between me and somebody that I love, no. Tooth and nail. Like I keep on saying, tooth and nail on this. If I have to do a full-fledged case against her, in fact, 2 of them from 2 different departments, I will do it. I will do it. But the damage is done already. I don't know if it's something I could just pull back on and say, no, don't do it. I don't know if I could do that at this point. I don't know. I don't know if I should decide not to do it. But the way I'm feeling right now, because it just doesn't involve me, it involves my girlfriend. Her happiness too. And I would never do anything to hurt her. And if somebody's trying to hurt her inadvertently, I'm not going to allow that to happen. No, sir, I'm not going to allow that to happen. So do what you need to do, and I will do what I need to do. That's what it really comes down to. Let's see where this plays out. But unfortunately, for the gentleman who is, and I use that word very loosely, who's been spending almost 16 months, count, almost 16 months out of the 27th of this month. That's a long time. I'll admit it. Simply because he couldn't shut his mouth. And he got 5 charges against him of cybercrime, which was approved by the DOJ, put into resolution to become a court case, and that it has. I warned him many times, to no avail, and to have the gall and the balls to Gagnols that even after being charged, came on his phone in a jail cell, locked up, and continued calling me names and harassing me and antagonizing me. When or how does this person learn? Apparently, my opinion, he doesn't have the capacity to understand his situation. All he's thinking of is revenge and get even, get even, get even. I don't know. It's this kind of thinking that got him into trouble in the first place, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, that's what I had to say on this. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. If not anything else. But I was compelled to come on this morning and do this show and kind of lay out the groundwork of what's going on here. Anything that I'm legally able to talk about, that is. All the surface stuff, but the deep stuff, that's all pending. I'm not going to say a word on my show if anything was filed furthermore against anybody. But I didn't open up that can of worms. He did. I'm just following suit. That's all I'm doing. 42, look at this, 42 people. All trolls too, amazing. Well, not really, sock accounts. He did this to himself, and now he decided to get his girlfriend involved. How happy can she be about this? Well, she's concerned. Of course she is. Because she knows I mean business. It's affecting me and my loved ones. As I said, I'm not going to sit here and take this shit. If she has to be involved with this, then I guess she's involved herself with this. There you go. There you go. Maybe a bit too late for me to have any compassion for either one of them? More likely so. I don't want to continue with all this legal shit, but if I have to, I certainly will. I don't back down from a situation. That's just my constitution. I just can't. Especially when something this serious comes up and they're making allegations that I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Nah. I'm not laid back, Larry, on this shit. This is a serious matter. And I'm looking at it as being very serious. And I'm going to treat it as being something serious. And I'm going to continue to do what I need to do, what me and my girlfriend need to do, to bring proper remedy to this. But unfortunately, it's not going to be in either one of them's favor. Didn't have to come down to this. No, it didn't have to, but it did. It did. A little bit late to try to find a remedy in their favor. Okay. Well, I can have my cereal here. Just thought I'd speak my mind about a few things on here and kind of let you know where it stands. I don't have to share this information with you, and I will not share anything beyond this. I'm sure you'll get whatever information you need from him directly. You'll see where this transpires. And it's not going to get prettier. In fact, it's going to get quite ugly, I assure you. my understanding is that there's a lot of chatter going on Discord. Quite a bit of chatter. Who's predicting this? Who's predicting that? Opinions, predictions, and so forth. So there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than what you hear on YouTube. A hell of a lot more. Everybody has their own opinion. Factual or not. Pardon me, I am eating my breakfast, so deal with me. I think I've been out here long enough. Okay. So the stage has been set. Lights, action, camera. And we'll see what it goes from here. Only time will tell. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to force my hand in on this situation. It's qualified to do so. The prerequisites are there. Love. Right. Love has nothing to do with it. It's straightforward revenge. Which may not work out very well for either party. And by the way, Cybercrime Unit, DOJ, and Immigration are all aware of this man's name. Not very favorably. They will not entertain any more reports. And are quite familiar with what's going on and the history. One cannot irritate and be abrasive with the Department of Immigration and expect anything good to come out of it, or the DOJ, or the U.S. Embassy. It doesn't work in your favor. The man is simply making it almost impossible for himself to utilize his summary deportation. Just digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper in doo-doo. So, what's a man to do? Try to find an ounce of compassion to release this man? Are you kidding? Why? Especially the conspiracy of him and his girlfriend to try to get me deported from this country. It does not leave me that much room for compassion. If I had any for him, it's gone. It's gone.